Put a one in the comments for me and let me know where you're watching from. If you don't know who I am, my name is L. Antoinette, and I'm a psychological identity strategist. And I'll talk a little bit more about what I do, but basically, I help high functioning women lead, love, and earn, how can I say this, from emotional power and not survival mode. The majority of the women that tend to come to work with me are extremely successful women. They've done a whole lot of work on themselves. The issue at hand, though, is that they've done a lot of work in this sense of achievement, but they haven't done a lot of work in regard to building their internal infrastructures. Therefore, these women become extremely successful. They start making a whole lot of money, and everything just seems like, oh my God, I finally arrived. But then they hit a wall. And the wall that they hit is the mirror. And when they look in the mirror, they're able to look at themselves and assess that I'm not happy. I don't have joy. I have been performing all of this time. I have not been living the reality that I know that I could be living in. And a lot of that, some people may call an identity crisis. I don't believe in identity crises. I will be 42 in 12 days. And I don't believe in identity crises. I've never even had one. But when I've gone to actually study scenarios and women who've actually, and men who've actually had identity crises, I've realized that it's not an identity crisis. It's actually not a crisis at all. It's actually an initiation. And what I mean by an initiation is that you're going to be required, because you're at a fork in the road, you're going to be required to make different decisions, or you're going to hate your life for the rest of your life. That's really the reality of it. So when you see the man who is in a midlife crisis and he goes to go buy a car or do something extremely random, or if you see a woman in a midlife crisis and she just starts doing all this random stuff that you just never thought that she would do, they are trying to figure out who they are. Because somewhere along the lines, listening to the programming of society, listening to, what family said that you should be doing, all of these different type of things have come to impact you in such a way that you don't even know who you are. I can't tell you how many attorneys, I can't tell you how many VPs of companies, I can't tell you how many doctors, nurse practitioners, and high-level women that come to work with me. I cannot tell you how many of those women come to me saying that they don't know who they are. The reason why they are in these positions is because this is what they were told that they were supposed to do as children. And because of that, they have no identity. And living in a society like we live in, which is very vain, very quick to try to oust you or to try to outcast you in some form or fashion, you have to either pick an identity to fit in or stand in the fullness of your true identity. Identify your tribe. Understand that it's not going to be everyone, but understand that standing in your identity is how you're going to be fruitful, how you're going to be able to make more money, how you're going to be able to sustain this marriage, how you're going to be able to sustain in motherhood, how you're going to be able to sustain in business. Okay? So it's so important, and it's extremely vital that you understand that when you are not living in the fullness of your identity, that is why people end up having crises when they get closer to 30 or get closer to 40. They start looking at their life and start realizing that the things that they thought they wanted, they actually did not want, and these things actually have no value to them. So one thing that we have to pay attention to when it comes down to women specifically, which is the who I work with, when they have identity crises or they don't really know themselves, they find themselves in a space where they are choosing relationships. Thank you, Lovey. They are choosing work, and they are choosing friendships that drain the hell out of them. That's the pattern that I notice. These women who are performing, they're performing in all aspects of life. Okay? So you can't perform in work and think that you're not performing in life and think that you're not performing in relationships. That's not how this goes. How you do one thing is how you do all things. And until you pay attention to the pattern of that, you will continue to repeat cycles that you claim you don't like. you claim that you hate. Okay? So today I'm talking specifically about why high functioning women, why these women break faster. Like why they end up like breaking faster. What exactly is happening? And I'm going to talk about the neuroscience behind it. If this is your first time joining you, let me go ahead and tell you everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. I love neuroscience. I love physics. I teach a form of physics to be able to support women in their feminine energy, to be able to still execute, to be able to do the things that are necessary for them. So I love neuroscience. I love physics. I love biology. I teach women how to sync with their cycle so that they can be healthier. The 3 results mainly that women get when they come to work with me are the following. Number 1, they make more money. Women that come to work with me make more money. And they make more money because they become extremely magnetic. Because when you come to work with me, I teach you how to activate your inner muse. Why is this important as a woman, especially living in the current society that we have right now? Number 1, here's the truth that we need to start telling ourselves. Society treats you based on how they see you. And if you don't respect yourself enough to be the best version of yourself, they're not going to respect or honor that either. What you have to understand is that you are a spirit being having a human experience through energetic fields. Okay? So what has to be paid attention to if you want to thrive on this earth is your spirit, okay? Your body, okay? And your energy. And you know what the biggest aspect of this energy that I'm speaking on? Your energy in motion, your emotions, okay? One of my modalities is that I'm an energetic psychology practitioner outside of being a psychological identity strategist. And what that means is that I can tell you how your emotions are going to impact your organs. I can tell you that the root of your IBS is stress, baby. And I know they tell you that at the doctor's office, they write, it's on a piece of paper that they give you and they say, lower your stress. But that's because they're not really taught to explain to you in depth how stress manifests and ruins your spleen. And to the point to where your spleen can't work with your stomach. And when your spleen can't work with your stomach, this is why you start having constipation and these issues. I want you to think back about the child that is scared and their stomach start hurting and they get constipated. See, these are things that you have always known, but the reality of the situation is that you've gotten so confident in trusting society and believing their program instead of researching things for yourself. You have to understand with the creation of AI and the participation of so many, anytime they bring something before the masses and they allow the masses to participate, this is what I need you to understand. Thank you for these likes. What I need you to understand is that when they presented AI to everyone as for mass consumption, you have to understand that that's being studied. You have to understand that what you're putting in there, like that data is being studied. You also have to understand that the goal is to impact your ability to critically think, to become dependent upon something outside of yourself. Now, here's where that comes into a problem for you. When you become dependent upon anything outside of yourself, okay, you then position yourself to make that thing an idol. If you solely depend on your husband, you have made that man your idol. If you solely depend on AI and how you run things, you have made AI an idol. And when you begin to make things an idol and you have to engage with it so much, you begin the practice of worship. And that particular thing becomes your God. Okay? And the Most High God is quite a jealous God. And that doesn't tend to work out for your favor. Beautiful rising, love you. So what you have to understand is, again, you are a spirit being having a human experience. Okay? In a large energetic field. So what you need to be focusing on, the quality of your life experience depends on the health of the following: your spirit, your body, and your emotional health. That is the only way you can thrive in this society. Okay? And I'm going to talk specifically about why high functioning women they break faster. And they break faster, the biggest thing, right? Or break faster than men, let me say that. The reason why I think the biggest thing that women miss of why they're not realizing how easily they can break is because you're violating one of the three things that I believe that you need to thrive on this earth, which is understanding the science of yourself. Women, the majority of women, especially in the United States, do not understand or even know the science of themselves. The majority of women in the United States are not cycle syncing. The majority of the women in the United States are having womb issues. That's what's happening. And like I've been telling you since last week, there is a huge war going on. It's spiritual and it's psychological. The evidence of that is the war on your words. Why people don't know how to read and write anymore. That's very important going into where we're in now, to be able to actually read for comprehension. Is extremely important. Most people can't read for real because most people can't comprehend. So there's a war on your words, right? There's a war on things that have been written because there's a war on writing as well. And there is a war on wombs. Why is that? Why is that? Simple. Because all of those aspects are pathways to wealth. People have used words to trick you into believing things that made you give up your money. One form of wealth. Okay? People have written laws and written rules that you have believed that have positioned them for power and more money. War. See, this is how we pay attention. Okay? You live in a society that have poisoned you with things like, oh, you should go and this is not one of them. This is actually a natural candle, but they poison you with things like sales at Bath and Body Works, knowing doggone well that those things are hormonal disruptors. They disrupt your hormones. And this is coming from someone who used to have polycystic ovarian syndrome, keyword used to. So they sell you things like that. They sell you things in the food and they don't really tell you if you don't read, if you don't pay attention. So there's a war on your wombs. Boom. If it's a war on your womb because you don't understand the science of yourself, that you have a chronological age, but you also have a biological age. And your biological age, you could actually be a lot younger if you get yourself together. I used to be 100 pounds heavier, by the way. And, right? So if you got yourself together and you really synced with your cycle, you really ate according to what you were missing and lacking. The reason why people are getting on here now and telling you, oh, when you're on your period, you need to be eating a steak because you're losing blood. Yes, because you need iron. You need iron. But you can't do that if you eat ice. See, we're making jokes about things. Eating ice you keep continuing to do that, you're anemic. That's early organ failure, sweetheart. It's not a joke or a game. You have to pay attention to what they are waging war on. And it is on your words, and it is on the things that have been written, and it is on wombs. All of those are pathways to wealth. All of those are pathways to wealth. Recognize when people are trying to block your wealth. So when you are making it your business to be dependent upon anything else outside of yourself. And let me go back, because like I said, everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. I'm quite a nerd. I like to dissect both. So when I speak specifically about how this is all rooted in scripture, science, and psychology mainly. So let's get into the science aspect of that. When you don't understand the science of yourself by syncing with your cycles, when you don't understand that you have a sun clock and a moon clock, and if you were in my rhythmic woman class, you already know all about this because I taught y'all. Your sun clock and your moon clock. Your sun clock governs your day-to-day. Your moon clock is something that you should be honoring. But when you don't understand and you don't know these things about yourself, and you do things like take birth control, you're being tricked. Now, understand, when I was young, I was put on birth control. So I speak heavy on it because I understand. They don't explain to you when they give you those birth control pills, yeah, these are the colors and this is, and they don't explain to you that they represent phases of your cycle. And what you are doing when you take certain pills to push your cycle back and stuff like that, you are purposely throwing your body out of balance. And anything that's a mimic of what you naturally create is going to be stronger. And the body is going to fight to try to keep you where you need to be, which is why a lot of you feel moody. That's why birth control makes you moody, sweetheart, because it shifts your hormones in a certain kind of way. But how about you don't need to do that? But, oh, I need birth control. What happened to the element of self-control? See, this is where we go into the spiritual aspect of it. See, this is why, this is one of the reasons why self-control is a fruit of the spirit. It's not just about you not being able to close your legs. What it speaks to is that you struggle to deal with your impulses, meaning you don't face them head on, meaning you don't have a plan for them. Like you don't, like, that's what's really going on. So you allow these people to put this in your face where they are literally showing you, because one thing about demonic access is about demons or anything demonic, it has to have an access point. You have to accept it. You have to invite it in. You have to do some form. Before you take anything, you should always know why you're taking it. You should not just be trusting what is being told to you. And I'm not even here to tell you don't take it, but I'm telling you, you should at least know what you're doing. I think it's extremely important. She said, wow, it sure does. I got off it 6 years ago, instantly dropped the inflammation. Wait, listen, let's not even get into the fact about the women in who have Depo, who took Depo, who had bone loss. Do you understand that's connected to bone loss? So if we're talking bone, then I believe if we're talking bone, we're talking kidney. So these are things that we really have to be thinking about. You don't realize the many ways that you're being sold to throw yourself off balance. Society wants you thrown off. You know why? Because when you are thrown off, you make horrible decisions, and that is what they want, for you to continue to make horrible decisions. Because if you continue to make horrible decisions, you will continue to feed their program. You will continue to feed their system in some form or fashion, whether you eat your emotions because you don't understand how to control your emotions, whether you crash out and you position yourself to be arrested. See, they count on you not being able to control your impulses, not being in control of self. Again, this is why self-control is a fruit of the spirit. It's not meant to shun you. It's not meant to box you in. See, the way that you've been taught these things is that to box you in. It's actually put in position to protect you against what's actually trying to box you in. Because I understand a lot of you may think that you have freedom of choice, but the society that you live in has done an excellent job in creating the illusion of choice. A lot of you will go to Texas Road. Y'all will sit there and argue about how, I'm not just using these restaurants for a reason, follow me. Texas Roadhouse and, I don't know, Bahama Breeze or something like Longhorn or Logan's. And you'll argue about which thing is better when they're all owned by the same company. You'll talk about how this particular phone company is better because it offers you Netflix, and no, this company offers you Hulu, when in reality what's happening is that they both are in each other's pockets and you paying them twice. See, they already made a deal behind closed doors and they recouping the deal from you and your bill. You have to start asking questions and start paying attention to things, because they're banking on your ignorance. They're banking on you being unaware. They're banking on you not knowing your identity. These things are so important. Hi, Lovey. So let's go ahead and get into it, because I'm not going to be in here real long because I got to go do some stuff. And I'll be saying that, then I'll be having it too long online. Okay. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Put a 1 in the comments so I can make sure that you can hear me clearly, so I can get into the aspect. Oh, that's too cute. Thank you, Lovey. I appreciate you. All right. So we're talking about why high functioning women break faster in the neuroscience that they never told us. Um, you'll see me looking down at my notes that I write on my little crack iPad that I will not give up. You know how you just got something, you just won't give it up. Child, this is me right here. I don't want to get this iPad up because it remind me of a core memory of me and my best friend. That's why I want to give it up. That passed away. But anywho, so there's a scientific reason why you're overwhelmed, okay? So I want to share some stuff with you today that I wish that somebody had told me so many years ago about overwhelm. You are not overwhelmed because you're dramatic, okay? Hi, Lovey. You're overwhelmed because your brain and your nervous system process stress differently, okay? They process stress differently, and neuroscience proves this. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. This is why, hear me when I say this, because I want you to think about yourself in every experience. And I want you to think about yourself in relationships with men. I want you to think about yourself in relationships with the work that you do. I want you to think about the relationships that you have with the men in your family, but just with the masculine in general. Just hear me when I say this, okay? Neuroscience proves that women experience stronger emotional activation. Okay, their clarity drops faster under pressure. This is why they want you to emotionally buy. This is why emotional buyers are really the ones that keep the economy going. Okay, because clarity drops faster under pressure, meaning you make horrible decisions in desperation. Think about men. Think about men. Think about the choices you was making when you, okay? You make horrible decisions, okay? Because that clarity is dropping, okay? Hey, Joseph, it's dropping under pressure. And then what ends up happening is that you hit an emotional overload quicker than men. See, this is why y'all can't be going for the bull. Do you understand what I'm telling you? This is why you can't, this is why the Most High tells you to guard your heart above everything else, because from it flows life. You put your life on the line every time you allow yourself to participate in toxic behavior. You put your life on the line every time you allow yourself to stay in a situation where you're being disrespected and dishonored. You put your life on the line. Is he worth dying for? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. And some of y'all have children. That's all I'm asking. Worth dying for? Let me say this again. Neuroscience. So we talking about brain and what's going, and the nervous. So we really getting into it. So let's talk about that other aspect of that, of why this is really happening, right? When you give into the pressure of like desperation and to where you're not thinking and you let your emotions just take over, that means you're spiritual, you're not solid and grounded in the truth of your identity and who you truly are. If you knew that you had the Most High's nature, the Most High's character, and you had your own lane. Dominion is basically you having your own lane. You ain't got to jock nobody else. You ain't got to copy them. You don't have to do anything but be yourself, and your lane is boom. You understand? When you understand that, it's easy for you to leave scenarios that don't honor you. When you understand that, you always know it's always something for you, always something greater. You understand? Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. See, when you are operating in that, you move. You don't do all the talking. You don't say, I know my work. You show with your actions that you know it. I'm going to say this again. Like I said, I want you to think about it and hear what I'm telling you. Neuroscience proves, keyword proves. Go look it up. Y'all know the first thing I'm going to always say, you ain't got to believe nothing I'm telling you, baby. Go look it up. Everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. I like that. I absolutely like that. I love that. I study it for fun. I really am a nerd. Like, that's like, yeah. I like dissecting concepts. I understand people. This is why I do well in business. This is why women come to work with me. They have better relationships. They get healthier. They make more money. Because it's about energetics. And when you understand energetics, that you're in an energetic field, see, when that spirit is grounded, that means that mental fortitude is strong. That mean your thoughts are strong. Thank you, Lovey. Okay. And if those thoughts are strong, that heart is guarded. And when I say guarded, I'm not speaking about, oh, you have a wall up. No, baby. Boundaries are gates. When somebody is going to come through the gate, you're going to check and make sure they are who they say they are before you allow them into your yard. A boundary is simply a gate. You make sure that they meet the qualifications before they come in. That's what a job does. That's what a job does. So how is it that you can so easily do it for something that you claim you don't care about, which is a job you hate, but you don't do it for people that's coming into your heart space? I don't think so. Again, neuroscience proves that women experience stronger emotional activation. Their clarity drops faster under pressure, and they hit emotional overload quicker than men. See, and this is because you don't understand the science of yourself, you're trying to figure out why he not responding the way you want to respond because you cry in his face. Rule number 2, if you want to thrive here. Okay? I'm gonna give y'all 3 of them real quick. Number 1, if you want to thrive on this earth as a woman in your feminine nature and your true authentic nature, you're going to have to understand spiritual law. The reason why you feel like the victim, the reason why nothing ever seems to go your way, the reason why everyone seems to be against you, yada, 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 is because they're creating the reality they want and you're not creating the reality that you want. You're creating the one that's familiar to you, where you're always the victim. If you grew up a lot of times and you were the victim as a child and you have not resolved that, you have not reparented self, we have not done work with the inner child, we have not done these things, then guess what? You will spend your life continuing to be the victim because that is how you will always see things. We are not responsible for our wounds, but we are responsible for healing if we really want wealth. And again, let's get into what wealth is, because I didn't go over. Wealth is not just money. If this is your first time joining me, wealth consists of 5 pillars. And I've talked about this a lot. I haven't talked about it a lot at the end of this year. But wealth consists of, yes, financial resources, emotional fulfillment though as well, healthy relationships, growth and purpose, okay, and time freedom. That is what wealth looks like. That's what, if you're creating generational wealth, that's pouring into all 5 of those buckets. So don't talk about you creating generational wealth and all you're doing is getting money, but all you do is choose losers who you trick on in front of your children. These are the things, like, we need to keep it real with ourselves. We don't keep it real with ourselves, and we break our own selves down because we don't understand the second thing. We don't understand the science of ourself. 1, we're not creating our own reality because we don't know spiritual law. 2, we don't understand the science of ourselves, so we are expecting men to act like women because we don't know ourselves. And then we keep repeating patterns where we think we have chemistry, when in reality, yeah, you have chemistry, but there is one chemical energy and there's another chemical energy, and when you get together, it's a mess. It doesn't match. It's an explosion. You're wondering why it's an explosion because you don't understand your own chemistry, lovey. That's another science I love too, is chemistry, because I like formulas. I have a formula type of mind. So because you don't understand your own chemistry, you are constantly blowing up your life. And it's because you don't understand the science of yourself. And a part of understanding your chemistry is syncing your cycle. Okay? A part of understanding your chemistry and understanding how you work chemically. A lot of you believe that you are depressed, right? But you haven't checked your vitamin D levels in so long, and you don't realize that when your vitamin D is low, okay, that you are going to have symptoms of depression. And then when you think about what's happening in the fall and the winter, the sun is going away, so we're losing even more. These are the things that we have to think about. When you're depleted chemically, what kind of decisions what kind of men you choosing? I stand on this, and me and my homegirl Sasha have talked about this all the time. Birth control will have you out here attracting the wrong type of men because it throws off everything, including the pheromone. It'll have you believing you like somebody you don't even like because it throws you off. These are the things. See, you can't make decisions under pressure. You don't make good decisions under pressure. I know you think you do because you can finish your paper that's due at 11:59. You started at 11. But thank you, lovey. I'm like, make it make sense. Absolutely. Absolutely it does. These are the things that we have to pay attention to, okay? But this happens where women experience stronger emotional activation and their clarity drops faster under pressure, and they hit an emotional overload quicker than men, not because we are weak, okay, but because we process more, deeper, and faster. This is a lot of this attributes to the us becoming mothers or being mothers. That's the instinct. We have men have they have an instinct that's different from our own. We have an emotional instinct as well. Okay? And this is something that we have to pay attention to. So it's not because we're weak, it's literally because we process more, we process deeper, we process faster. You are not burnt out because you're operating, just any kind of way. You're burnt out because you've been operating without an emotional floor. So you just keep falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. And when you fall into the level of desperation, your decision making is self-destructive. And you have to admit this to yourself. Like, we're not in a time where you can lie anymore. I'm so serious. Please. I have articles on Substack where I've written and talked about how we're in the age of air. Let me tell you something about air is wind. It's going to clear everything out. You can't keep lying. Your results are going to consistently tell on you. You have to get to the root of why you keep falling. Okay? Your brain isn't failing you either. And what I'm telling you isn't just spiritual. It is spiritual, but it isn't just spiritual. I'm giving you stuff that's straight from the National Institute of Health, the American Psychology Association, and a bunch of leading neuroscience journals. Like, I'm just telling you what it is. I'm going to tell you, women have heightened amygdala activation, and that's in the brain. Women have quicker cortisol spikes. Women have deeper emotional processing. Women have a slower return to baseline after stress. This is why after the breakup, you need time. But for him, after the breakup, he don't need all that time. You have a slower return to baseline after hard stress. This is why after you have that baby, it takes 2 years or more to come back to some form of normalcy. You still ain't never the same. But to come back to some form of normality, you need at least 2 years. Because why? You have a slower return, okay, to baseline after stress. You need to remember that. So you're not meant to be doing all this back and forth relationships acting crazy, because when life hits, when something hits your life for real, your brain fires harder, longer, and deeper. Okay? And a lot of you have been, how can I say this? A lot of you have been punishing yourself for something that's literally biological. You've been mistreating yourself because you don't know yourself. Again, go back to, because I never said rule number 3. If you want to thrive, rule number 1, know spiritual law so you can create your own reality. That's the only way out. 2, understand the science of yourself. You will stop expecting men to be like women, and you will know how to deal with men because you will understand the dynamic of them, and you will be able to deal with them in any form or fashion. A lot of you are out here saying that you decentering men and you just not talking to men. What reality that you live in do you live in that you feel like you're not ever going to have to deal with a man in some form or fashion? When you understand how to be in your identity, when you understand feminine energy, when you understand power dynamics, and these are all things that I teach my clients, you will know how to deal with any man. You understand what I'm telling you? Any man. Y'all trying to run from them, and that's why they harass you instead of looking them in the face and speaking something that automatically makes their vibration raise. See, I don't get scurry when I walk in front of a bunch of men. Oh my God, somebody gonna say something. I understand I'm an attractive woman, and before they could even say anything and I make eye contact, I smile and I say, "Afternoon, gentlemen." Guess what they gonna do? Act like gentlemen. Even if they was thinking about acting like something else. Because I called them a name, they had to raise to the occasion of that. And it didn't matter what type of group of men that I was walking into. I don't get harassed at the gas station. I don't get disrespected by men. I don't have, even men that try to talk to me that I reject them. None of that happens for me because I understand the dynamics, the power dynamics. You have got to understand power dynamics. Y'all don't understand those things. You just want to be rude. You have got to understand how this works. But you can't do that if you don't understand the science of yourself. Yes, they will rise to the demand every single time. Every single time. The third law that's very important if you want to thrive on this earth outside of understanding the science of yourself is to know, to study, to examine and dissect the generational psychology of the women that came before you. I know you think you're better than them because you make more money now. I know you think you're better than them because you went to therapy and stuff and they ain't went. I know you probably think you're better than them because you've achieved all these things. But here's the thing, you're still a lemon from that lemon tree. And one thing about lemons when they get squeezed, lemon juice is coming out of all of them. So who you are is going to come out because guess what? Pressure builds and reveals character. Good evening. Pressure builds and reveals character. So we're going to see you. So the reason why it's important for you to study them is so you can catch the loops and the voids and the things that they were missing. So you see why they made the decisions they made. And you close those doors for yourself so you don't repeat it. You are not better than your mother. Just because you married a man who does not cheat on you, that man disregards you and acts like you don't even exist. It's the same level of disrespect. So why you thought that you were here to heal the generational curse of not having wealth, you are actually here to heal the curse of low self-esteem, the curse that your grandmother had, the curse that your mama had, and the same one that you have. You are not better than the lemons from that lemon tree because you still come from them. And two things that we have to understand too in this life and in this reality. You know, we all have an ego problem, men and women, right? Women's egos are too big. Men's egos are extremely fragile. It causes both people to move in a certain kind of way of the opposite. So men have fragile egos, so they act as if they don't really have that. It doesn't really bother them and yada, yada, yada. Women believe the best of themselves, like I'm the best. The first thing, when I hear a woman say something, I don't know why he would have messed this up with me. I mean, I got my own house. I've done this. I've done that. I've done that. What this lets me know is that you place your value in your ego, in your achievements. When you don't understand masculine dynamics aren't focused on feminine achievement. They're not dissing it, but that's not the focus. That's not the focus. And that's not attractive. And that's not what they value. And people only invest in what they value. That's why it ain't going nowhere. See? And when you realize that your being is not valued, it is your responsibility to leave that experience where you are being devalued. Because if you do not leave at the moment of realization that you are not being valued, you are no longer a victim. You are now a volunteer for this experience. And a lot of women, because of ego and not accepting the reality when they realize at a certain point. Because I'm going to tell you something. You know why we crash out? Women, I'm going to tell you the 100% truth. And tell me I'm lying. You know why we crash out with men that we've been with for a while? If it's a real, not a play crash out, some of y'all play too much, but like a real life crash out, women who crash out and who act out, those are the ones who gave too much. You not only gave too much, but you knew you should have left a long time ago and you didn't. And so you really mad at yourself for staying. And because of that, you can't handle taking on the reality that you did that. You project that anger onto the man, so you bust out his windows. You cuss him out. You F his homeboy. You do this. You do that. See, we not dealing with reality. And I don't like that for us. I don't like that for us. That's why you keep repeating cycles, because you're not dealing with the reality. You're not taking accountability. You know you should have been gone. I'm so real with it. I don't mind. People ask me all the time. Any situation that I was in, I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly what I was doing. I was a willing participant in that experience, because you could have been opted out. Been opted out. Okay? Let me get back to it, because I don't want to get too off. All right? So let's talk about why you shut down. Okay? When your emotional stress system stays lit too long, okay, your focus is going to drop, your irritation is going to rise, your decision making collapse, okay? And you tell me if any of these things are familiar. You tell me if I'm lying, okay? You forget the simple things, you overthink, you lose control of your emotions, everything seems to feel heavy, small tasks seem impossible to you. You snap, you withdraw, you shut down. You know, just assess yourself. And let me tell you, that's not personality, baby. That's not personality that you snap like that. That's dysregulation. That's not power. That's dysregulation. That's what we see. I'm going to say it again. You forget simple things, brain fog. You overthink. The root of overthinking is lack, because you are worried about something. And what would you be worried about if you claim to be a believer? See, this is when I have to yank the collar of people who say that they are believers. What is there for you to overthink about when you are a believer? The only way that I could believe that you as a believer would overthink an experience, or think there's something was coming to harm you, or thinking that you would not have something, or thinking that you would be lacking. The only way that I could think that is if A, you did not believe, or two, you don't read to know. You ain't never read scripture. It's only one or two. One of the two. You actually don't believe, or you've never really read it for yourself to really get an understanding, so it's not activated within you. This is what you have to start telling yourself the truth about when you are overthinking. When you lose control over your emotional center, that means that whatever you lose control over, that has more power over you. And again, let me go back to you crashing out about that man. You remember I was saying, you crash out about that man because you feel really bad. You feel like, oh my God, I did all these things for him, and how dare he not want me? How dare he not take me after all my sacrifice? You made that man your God. You put that man on an altar. Ooh, you put him on a pedestal because you don't know men. They're humans too. Let's get into it. You put him on a pedestal, didn't you? Put him on a pedestal, and then he just said he's great, he's this, he's that, he's yada yada yada, he's this, and all of this about him. No focus on you. Where is your greatness? Where is your greatness? What about you? Oh, he did this, he's so great. He did all those things because you're so great to him. If you really understand masculine dynamics, men do things because they value you. But you have the mindset of, oh my God, he's doing this because he's so great. And when you start doing things for him, he's thinking, oh my God, I'm so great. That's why she keep doing these things. That's why they take what you give. Hello. Again, go back to rule number 2. Understand the science of yourself so you'll understand the science of everything else around you. You put that man on a pedestal and you sacrificed. You put him on a pedestal and you sacrificed yourself. I promise it was only one that had that assignment. And because you sacrificed yourself, and you sacrificed yourself, it makes you lose your mind. That reality makes you lose your mind. And he becomes the target of that, what happened in your reality, what you chose. These are the things that we have to really think about. Okay? You losing control of your emotional center, everything feeling heavy, everything seeming impossible, you snapping, you withdrawing, you shutting down. That's not personality traits. That is dysregulation. You off balance. You're off balance. Let's talk about the competent woman, okay? Because you say, yes, the healthiest love I'm experiencing will be, period. Period. I always say your deepest relationship is with your creator. Your widest relationship is with yourself, because it's consistently evolving. It's expansive. It's all of these things. Thank you, my love, for these likes and these gifts. Like, it's all of these things. And I've talked about this before, but I'm gonna say it again because I haven't said it maybe in about over a year. Understand the elements of yourself. I'm about to put you on game on something, and I don't want you to forget this either. I'm not going to repeat it, so catch it the first time, okay? Because I got to get back into it. But self-love is what I like to call a fire element, okay? External love, or the love of others, is a water element, okay? When you think about water, you think about it in abundance. You think about the ocean, right? And when you're thinking about water, I want you to think about the ocean. I want you to think about abundance. I want you to think about lakes, ponds, rivers, it's all that. Seas, okay? In order for you to get the external love that you are craving, right? You are going to have to set yourself on fire. Fire brings and calls water to it, okay? Water is allured and magnetized to fire. Do you understand? How do I set myself on fire? Okay? I am going to be self-aware. That's a log. I'm sorry. To be self-aware is to light the match. Okay? To have self-acceptance, all right? That's to throw the match on the logs. To have self-compassion, right, is another log. To practice self-care, oh, that's a couple of logs. Okay? Then we start understanding our self-worth, throwing lighter fluid on the fire. Okay? Then we start respecting ourselves. Now we just shooting logs in the fire. Okay? Then we start loving ourselves. The fire is blazing because you dropped the final log on there, and it's a bonfire at this point. Bonfire so heavy, smoke so heavy, people, everything can't help but to be magnetized and to try to see where this fire is, what this fire is all about, okay? And next thing you know, here come water rushing in. You understand? So the thing about once you start to set yourself on fire, you begin to realize that love is an ocean. And while you're spending your time focusing on a man loving you, you have the love of your mother. You have the love of your community. You have the love of your children. You have the love of strangers that you support. You have the love of this. You have the love of that. You realize that love was never lacking. You just needed to set yourself on fire. Okay? So this is something I don't talk a lot about that in this space, but you're already there. By the time you set yourself on fire, you realize it was always in abundance. It was always there. It was waiting on you. Everything is waiting on you. Everything is waiting on you. I'm waiting on God. The Most High is waiting on you, baby. Waiting on you. Okay? Let's talk about the competent woman in this experience. This is the woman who holds everything together, the strong ones, the emotional available. They take care of everyone. They stay calm on the outside. They fall apart on the inside. They have no soft place to land. High-functioning women burn out first. They burn out first. And then you blame yourself for collapsing beneath the weight that you were never even meant to carry by yourself. I'm sorry, I'm a failure. I'm sorry I failed you. That'd be the first thing. See, high-functioning women scared of failing. They're scared of failing. And the reason why they struggle with this is because they have not trained their minds, and they have not comprehended spiritually that there is no failure in kingdom. There is no loss or no failure in the kingdom. There are only lessons and wins. Do you understand that? And a lesson by itself is a win. But see, sometimes you get two wins in the experience, but the only way for you to be able to do that is for you to be able to look back and take account. Key word in accountability, meaning you have to go back and you have to assess the scenario and take a full account on both parties in the experience. Okay? These are the things that we have to pay attention to. So when you know that there is no loss, there is no failure in the kingdom, you understand that there is only lessons and wins. Okay? So you trying to say, oh my God, I'm a failure and all of this. The only way you fail is if you allow your spirit to be depleted, which means that you are not consistently in commune with the one that created you. And here's the other thing. You notice I said that there is no loss or failure in the kingdom. Where is the kingdom exactly? According to Luke 17:21, the kingdom of heaven is within you. There's also another verse that talks about the Most High is within her. She will not fail. See, when you understand who you are spiritually and you're rooted in that, you're not easily shaken or stirred. You're not easily shaken or stirred at all. Okay? So let's get into the survival loop aspect of this. Everything inside of us, all right? When your baseline breaks, your body moves into survival mode. This is where hypervigilance comes in, anxiety comes in, irritation comes in, emotional spirals comes in, people pleasing comes in, overworking comes in, withdrawing comes in, shutting down comes in, perfectionism comes in, over responsibility comes in, and this becomes your personal loop. Okay? This becomes your personal time loop. And once you're in that loop, you cannot think your way out. And see, that's the problem with high functioning women, because they always got a solution. See, most high functioning women are extremely solution oriented. They always know how to figure it out. They always know what to do. They always know this. They always know that. But they can't seem to get out of scenarios that they continue to repeat. And we all know someone like this, that they can tell you everything about everything, but they cannot, for the life of themselves, think their way out of the experience that they're experiencing at this time. You can't think your way out of it. You have to, how can I say this? You can only stabilize your way out. It does become a trap. And you think about corporate, they call it the rat race, which is basically a trap. You can only stabilize your way out. You can't think your way out. This is why women with degrees, and I'm gonna tell you something, and this is why the women, and you really want to know why, this is why the women with degrees get played with dudes with GEDs. Hear me now. This is exactly why the women with degrees get played by the brothers with GEDs. Okay? It's because you think you can think your way out of this experience, when in reality, you can only stabilize your way out of this reality. Okay? They're not aware that they're in this state. They look, the ones who aren't here, they're aware now. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. So let me just tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. You know, I know a lot of us, feel a multitude of things, but there's not anything wrong with you. And I want to say this very clearly, very lovingly, but also very directly. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're not too much. You're not unstable. You are dysregulated. There's a difference. Okay? Dysregulation also can feel like I know what to do, but I just can't do it. Like this is the type of stuff you saying to yourself when you by yourself. I know what to do. I just can't do it. I'm overwhelmed by everything. I'm exhausted, but I'm also wired. This is how you can still move around and be exhausted. Okay? Running on fumes. I don't feel like myself. I can't get back into my body. Oh, that is beautiful. Thank you for that. I can't get back into my body. Okay? These are things that you're probably saying behind closed doors. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need more discipline. I know they try to lie. See, society would say, you need more discipline. You need to get this. You need to do this. And everything is rooted to them you buying something to increase your discipline. You don't need to pay nobody to increase your discipline. You need to get regulated. You need to pay to invest yourself in getting regulated. Okay? Trust me, you don't need more discipline. You need emotional stabilization. It's very, very important. Now, if you are a woman who is in this space and you know that this is you and you want to really get grounded, you really want to get regulated, I have something for you. And this is my first time talking about it, so I'm really excited. And it's brand new, guys. Because I've been thinking about y'all and I've been hearing y'all. And I'm like, I got y'all. So when a woman is dysregulated, another thing I want you to understand is that this is why your mindset tools are not working. Okay? Or this is why your mindset tools don't land. Journaling is not working anymore. Meditation stops working for you. No manifestation, no productivity hacks. None of these things are working for you. Why? I'm going to tell you honestly why. Because mindset can't override a dysregulated nervous system. Mindset cannot override a dysregulated nervous system. I'm telling you the absolute truth. You need structure. You need grounding. You need stabilization. You need emotional authority. You need identity anchoring. You need a nervous system clarity. Okay? And this is exactly why I built emotional foundations. Okay? So I'm going to explain what foundations is, how to get it, what all comes with it. And then I have something for you to read for yourself to see if that's what you need to be doing. But what I can tell you is that if you do tap into foundations, you will go into 2026 a new woman because you'll have the tools. And if you work it in the order that I have it worked, starting from December 1, by December 31st, when you going into the new year, January 1st, you will already be locked in. You will already be clear. You will already be making making great decisions. This is not you getting your mindset. No, let me tell y'all something. And I'm just going to be really honest here. And I'm going to try to say this without getting banned. Y'all see what they've been doing all year long. You see what has been happening all year long. They're not going to take their foot off your neck next year. Next year is the 250th year of a certain nation's birth or development or whatever you want to call it. They're going to do everything in their power to emotionally make you unstable, emotionally make you crash out. They are preparing for that. They are preparing for you. Ultimately, what you have to understand about the society that you live in, their goal is to make you a slave spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically if you allow your emotions to get out of control, and financially. Do you understand? So everything that I'm giving you in emotional foundations, it's going to support you. I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to tell you what's in it. You can go read and look at it for yourself and decide if that's something that you want. The price point of it, you can get it with Klarna, Firm, and Afterpay right now. There's a Black Friday sale that's going to go through all the way. You can get it all the way up until December 1st, I believe. No, yeah. You can get it up until December 1st. And then after that, it's going to its regular price, okay? It is $197. Let me go ahead and tell you what is in it, all right? So this is how it works. If your stress circuits fire off and you can't control yourself, this is what Foundations is going to give you to support you in getting yourself together immediately. You ain't going to have time to be like, I need to call somebody to go help me. You're going to have to learn how to self-govern. And I'm sorry to have to hurt some feelings, but let me tell you something. You need to learn how to self-govern. You need to learn how to be able to use your feminine energy and your femininity. Femininity is a skill set as well. It's a survival skill. Me telling you how I walk through and I'm seeing a crowd of men, and instead of me getting uncomfortable, hey gentlemen, how you doing? I'm able to walk through. That is a survival skill, because had I walk by and act like I ain't see them, they specifically gonna poke with me. It's like the boy on the playground who don't like you don't like, and he's trying to hit you and do that same concept. You have to stop moving in fear and start moving in authority. And moving in authority does not mean acting like them. Moving in authority is standing in the fullness of your identity and allowing your power to control that scenario. Because me saying, how y'all doing, gentlemen, was a power shift. That's what you're missing. That was a power shift. That was, I am a gentleman. You need anything? No, I appreciate you asking. No, if I need something, I'll definitely come in and look for you. Oh, all right. Learn. Learn. You're gonna need it. I'm not telling you something just to be telling you something. You're gonna need what I'm telling you. Now, this is what foundations is going to give you if your stress circuits fire off. Foundation gives you rapid grounding tools. It gives you baseline reset frameworks. It gives you emergency calm down protocols. If your clarity is under pressure, this is what Foundations is going to give you. Foundations is going to teach you cognitive simplification. It's going to help you get down to the reality outside of your emotions so you don't get consumed. I'm talking about it's going to help you do it real quick too. Within seconds. And if you don't believe me, ask my clients that's on here. My clients that's on here, do me a favor and put a 1 in the comments. Ask them. One thing about my clients that come to work with me, anxiety decreased, almost non-existent for the majority of mine. And I'm not saying that they don't have anxious feelings. We all have anxious feelings, but anxiety starts with an anxious thought. If you don't let it, if you have a process to not let it become a feeling, it won't attack you. Do you understand what I'm saying? You won't be having anxiety attacks. You understand? Hey, Eli. That's, child's gonna call you Eli. That's Sarah right there. She just graduated, and I just wrote an article about her journey on my Substack that you can click the link in the bio, and you can go read about her experience in the program. Emotional regulation is what I do. It's who I am. Because if you can't do anything as a woman if you cannot manage your emotions, period. Hey, Lasha, girl, and Lasha too. Okay, Lasha been with me. When I tell you almost every course, everything, I'm always going to see Lasha. I don't want to say her name. Look, I got your name too, but I didn't want to say it on live since you put Lasha in here. But her as well. You can ask. And you can holler at these women. They will tell you. But let me tell you, if your clarity is under pressure, if you can't make a clear decision, this is what Foundation is going to teach you. Cognitive simplification, decision pacing, and emotional organization. Okay? That is what Foundations is going to give you if you are lacking clarity. If you struggle to bounce back, you notice. So let me tell you something. The things that I'm giving you are things that happen every day in your life. Your stress circuits fire off. Do you have a plan for that? Do you have a process for that? Or you just start acting crazy because you're stressed? You start acting out because you don't have a foundation. That's what Foundations is going to give you. It's going to ground you immediately. It's going to bring you back to your baseline. It's going to give you an emergency calm protocol. You need this because you can't act a fool everywhere you go. Grow up. And don't nobody want to be with nobody who don't know how to control themselves. Please come on down. If your clarity drops under pressure, guess what? People be trying to make you make decisions and you get disoriented. This is what's going to support you in getting yourself together so you make the right choice for you. Don't you ever let nobody rush you into making a decision. Don't you ever let nobody play with you like that. Okay? So you're going to get, because to be able to help you with that, to get your clarity back, cognitive simplification, decision pacing, emotional organization. If you struggle to bounce back, this is another thing that women go through a whole lot. If you struggle to bounce back, Foundations is going to give you recovery rhythms, emotional authority practices, and quick return to baseline tools. This is going to get you back to balance. Especially, this is important if you're going through a breakup and you got something going on, you got children, baby, you got stuff to do, but you don't need to mask and suppress what you feel. You need to learn how to deal. So you can start the process of thriving once you've gone through that experience of grieving whatever it is that you lost. Because just because you lose things, because loss is a part of every single reality, does not mean the world is going to stop, and your world can't stop. Okay? So if you struggle to bounce back, I'm sorry, I said that one. If your overwhelm breaks your boundaries, This is another one. Foundation guides you through emotional capacity mapping. This is how you learn what you can take and what you can go on. I'm teaching you one of the most important skills that you need to know as a woman. You need to know your threshold as a giver. You need to know your threshold as a giver. The reason why you keep getting done in is because you don't know how to emotionally how to if you don't have, you don't have an emotional capacity map. That's why. You don't know where it begins or ends for you. And this is why you get used up in every experience. The church using you, the sorority using you, the man using you, your family using you, your kids using you, your friends using you. And you trying to figure out why you keep getting used because you have a big heart, because you don't have an emotional capacity map. That is what Foundations is going to give you. Foundations is also going to give you identity-led boundaries. Okay? Your boundaries need to be centered and clear. Knowing who you are positions you to protect yourself. The reason why government, presidents, kings, and all of that, they walk around or they go around, they have a bunch of bodyguards because of who they are. The president needs bodyguards. The king needs protection. Identity-led boundaries, okay? That's what you're going to get in Foundations for when your overwhelm breaks your boundaries. You're also going to get internal safety building, okay? What I am giving you in this particular class, okay, or this particular mini program, basically, this is neuroscience translated into feminine stability. Thank you, Lovey. Now, this is why you need Foundations. Okay, if you're in here, this is why you need Foundations. You need it if everything feels heavy. All right, Lovey, you should go on and click the link in the bio. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that in a second. But this is how you know you need Foundations. If everything feels heavy, if you have brain fog, if you shut down under pressure, if you feel responsible for too much, if you overthink simple choices, not even knowing what you want to eat, okay? If you don't feel like yourself, if your emotions are louder than your clarity, if your boundaries collapse when you're overwhelmed, if you keep abandoning yourself to be with other people or to do things for other people, okay? If you feel fragile, tired, wired, or off-center, okay? This is not the life that you were built for. And I need you to understand that this is what you call a dysregulated baseline. And Foundations, okay, is going to reset that. All right. I'm not here to pressure you. You don't have to listen to nothing I'm saying. I'm here to, how can I say this? I'm here because I know what it's like to be and feel powerful. And I know what it's like to feel powerful and be exhausted. I've been in that space as well. I know what it's like to be capable but stretched thin. I know what it's like to be emotionally intelligent but also dysregulated underneath, okay? Foundations is literally not about becoming somebody new. It's about stabilizing the woman that you already are, your steadiness, your softness, your clarity, your emotional authority. So if you're ready to get back to your baseline, then, and you want to feel like yourself again, then click the link in the bio and get access. What you're going to see in the bio when you click the link is going to take you to my Substack article that is breaking down everything that's in Foundations. And then you have the link to purchase. Foundations is going to become available and you'll get access on December 1 because I want you to start on December 1 and end on December 30th. Because when December 31 hit, everybody trying to figure out what they finna do and you already know what you're doing. You already know what you want. You got 30 days in. It only takes 21 days to build a new habit. You about to do this hot 30, okay, to get yourself where you need to be. So like I said, high functioning women, and click the link in the bio to get access to that. You can get a recliner firm and Afterpay. The current price right now is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's, let me double check because I don't want to tell no story. It's either $197 or, yeah, it's $197. The true price of it is $297. It's going to be $297 after Monday. So if you want it, my strong suggestion would be for you to go ahead and get it while it's at this price. You're going to get 6 modules, okay? I'm going to go over a little bit. I'll tell you what's in the modules. Let me see. I can look it up on here, actually. Okay, so this is what you're going to get in there, and you'll see it when you click the link in the bio. You'll go from emotional survival to emotional power. You'll get out of emotional reactivity and come back into clarity. Module 2 is going to support you in nervous system grounding, which is going to stabilize your baseline. So even when life doesn't slow down, you're still where you need to be. Emotional authority, okay? You're going to reclaim your emotional steering wheel. Identity grounding, which is going to stop shifting, to match the room. A lot of women code switch, and a lot of women shape shift to go into different rooms. This positions you to really, really focus on yourself. This positions you to really start leading from your center, from your authentic core, because that's what's sustainable. Module 5 is going to support you with emotional wealth and self-trust. This is going to put you in position to the beginning or to start your self-assured era. I know a lot of you are focused on the villain era. You don't really need to be focused on that. You see, when you become self-assured, you automatically become a villain. Y'all doing it wrong. You don't need to enter into your villain era. You need to become assured. When you become assured, you become the villain. Because you know who you are and nobody can tell you who you are. When nobody can tell you who you are because you know who you are, then you ain't really going for a lot of the dumb stuff. You're very clear on what you want. You participate in experiences that benefit you, that elevate you. You treat yourself like a first-class experience. So you are the villain. You don't need to pretend to be one. So you don't need a villain era. You need to become self-assured. Module 6 is going to support you with emotional magnetism and integration, okay? You're going to become the calm, confident, feminine presence that you know that you are. With every single module, you get worksheets, you get somatic resets, you get identity prompts, you get feminine physics, which is something that I specifically teach behind closed doors, and you get nervous system grounding, and you get clean emotional tools. You're not getting any fluff. You're not getting any overwhelm, just the reset that you need for your body and your identity, okay? I'm going to tell you who this program is for. It's for women who are tired of emotional spirals, collapse when they're overwhelmed, overthink everything, feel less emotional, or feels emotionally loud on the inside, performs calm but not really calm, wants clarity but stuck in loops, is deeply self-aware but not always self-led, okay? Because that's not the same. She desires to return to her feminine power. She wants to feel safe inside of her own emotions. And she's preparing for deeper identity embodiment work. This is who this is for. This is for the woman who knows that she's powerful, but she needs to get back to her baseline. If that's you, click the link in the bio, scroll down, grab your copy. Not grab your copy. Scroll down. Once you get down, and you'll see where you can purchase by clicking the links. Go ahead and get that pre-sale offer because the original price is $297. It's $197 until, thank you, love it. It's $197 until, like I said, on Monday. So once Monday hits, it's over with. So click the link in the bio to be able to get access. What questions do you guys have for me, if any? I'm going to take a few questions before I get off here. So drop those questions in the comments. I am great. Thank you for asking. Any questions about foundations? Any questions about anything that we spoke about? I offer Klarna Affirm and Afterpay. And you can be able to click the link in the bio to get access. Can we use this masterclass to help other women? No. And the reason why I say no is because that's my intellectual property. And people who invest, that's I believe PayPal should be fine. I think, well, I don't know. You have to kind of look on there and see. I'm not quite sure. But no, you can't use this masterclass to support anybody else because it's my work. Now, one thing that I am going to be doing is certifying, I've been saying it for a while, but I actually am going to do it in 2026. I'm going to be certifying women to teach my frameworks and teach what I teach. So that's definitely coming. But once you click the link in the bio and you get your ticket, yes, I'm offering that in 2026. Yeah, that's coming in 2026. Thank you, Lovey. Yes, I'm really excited about it. It's been time. I've been saying I was going to do it, but I needed to shift my mind a certain kind of way. Women have, like I said, women who have come to work with me, they get those three massive results. Those are the main results. If you want to see a transformation from start to finish, make sure that you sign up for my, you can sign up for my email list or sign up for my Substack. If you sign up for my Substack, you'll see the recent article that I wrote on my client, Sarah, who made an amazing transformation, and I'm just loving the space that she's in. So you can read more about that in her transition and transformation in the Muse Activator, which is my program. Now, my next Muse Activator cohort is actually starting on the 10th of December. And you can click the link in the bio to learn more about the Muse Activator. You can click the link in the bio to become a paid member of my Substack as well. If you become a paid member of my Substack, you get a lot of strategy and different things for $22 a month or $222 a year. So you can go over there, or you can come on in to Foundations. Foundations is going to be really, really, like I said, I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for a while, so I've been ready to put this out. Ready. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, love. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sarah, my love. Any questions? So your Foundations, though, I'm really excited about it. And as you see, a lot of the stuff that I used to have on my links, I don't have anymore. That's because there are some things that are shifting. So the way that you guys have been working with me is a pathway. It's going to be very different. You're welcome. All praises to the Most High. It's going to be very. So if you're not clear though, emotionally, y'all gonna have a hard time in 2026. I'm not even being funny. I wish I was being funny. I'm not though. I wish I could say it's a joke. It's really not. So I really hope that you guys are paying attention to that. And emotional mastery is going to be required for 2026. I just made a post the other day, no, earlier today actually, and I was saying two things that improve the quality of my life. Is one of them was understanding that emotions are messengers, not masters, and that triggers are cues and clues. And if you don't know what to do with those two things, if you don't understand it, and also understanding too, is just as an honorable mention, not all triggers are bad. Sometimes triggers are a very good thing. So these are my hope for women in 2026 is for you to be a master of your emotions, and not your emotions be a master of you, because if you don't, it is going to impact the quality of your life, and that's for real. So let me go ahead and get off here because I've got to go. I got to take care of some things. I hope that y'all have an amazing Wednesday. Click the link in the bio to be able to get access, or you're going to get an email tonight actually, and an email probably over the next couple of days before we release it, because I want you to be ready, kind of like a little bit of pre-work, because it kind of is like a mini program. And it's only 4 weeks. Okay. Unfortunately, I lost a friend. She was emotionally dysregulated. So sad. Yeah. It's been a lot of us that's gone off of that very thing, whether we realize it or not. But we really have to guard our hearts. We really have to protect ourselves. And especially going into this season. Especially going into the season that we basically have already entered into. But all right, y'all, let me get off here because I have got to go take care of some things. I hope that y'all have an amazing day. Click the link in the bio to be able to get your ticket. Like I said, it'll be $197. You get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay all the way up until Monday. And then after Monday, it is going to its original price of $297, because the value in that is life-changing. So I'm super excited.